Welcome to the third of our winter series of Proform webinars, where the objective is to demonstrate different aspects of Proform so you can get the most out of the Proform software and the Proform race guides. So tonight's webinar is all about well-handicapped horses. There are many factors we need to consider when looking to have a bet in a race, and one of those factors is the handicap mark, i.e. the horse's official rating. And the reason is that if we can identify horses that are well handicapped, then effectively what we've found are potential winners in weighting. So tonight's objective really is to show you how you can quickly identify well handicapped horses. What we'll do is go through a number of slides to explain some background, and then later on in the webinar what we'll do is cover how we can identify well handicapped horses using the Proform software and the Proform race guides. Before we do that, let's just look at ratings, and they can be broadly broken into three categories. The first category are the official ratings, and these are created by the British Horse Racing Authority, and the objective of these ratings is to provide a numeric assessment of each horse's ability. Based on our class system, it's the official rating which will determine a horse's eligibility or entry criteria for a certain class or grade of racing. The second type of rating are speed ratings, and those are ones which measure the ability of a horse using time as a factor. And then the third category of ratings are private, and these are ones that are not public domain, but typically they could be a mixture of the above two ratings. So people may choose to replicate the work of the official handicapper, apply their own spin or apply their own thinking to these ratings, or the ratings themselves can be derived by computer algorithms or a super secret method that's not known. Tonight's focus, however, will be on the official ratings because these are public domain. And what we'll do is go on to demonstrate how we can use the official ratings to determine horses that are well handicapped. But first, let's take a look at the official ratings. What I did was run a report using Proform to look at national hunt races, just chases and hurdles, and break the information down by non-handicaps and handicaps. So within the Proform System Builder, what you can do is order information by the official handicap rank. So here, number 1 indicates that this is the top rated from an official rating perspective, second rated, and third rated, and so forth. What we can see from the official handicap ratings is that they do a very good job of identifying the top 3 horses that we need to be focusing on in respect for win purposes. Now if we look at the information just for handicaps, as you can see from the image on the screen, typically the winner is found in the top 6 rated of the official ratings, which means it's not really that easy for us as punters to identify the winner easily just using the official ratings. And I took the liberty of going across to the BHA website to look at their handicapping manual. What you can see from the words highlighted is that the situation we see in the stats is created on purpose, in that the BHA want to achieve a competitive racing or close finishes because they want owners, trainers and the betting public to feel that the horse has a chance of winning for as long as possible. However, what we'll do now is go on to see how we can extract the signal from the noise of the official ratings to identify well handicapped horses. But it's important not to base well handicapped horses on races that were not handicaps, i.e. sellers. This is because a rise and fall of the official rating in non-handicapped races is not a true representation of a mark the horse can or cannot run to. So if our focus is on handicap races only, when we're looking at a horse's official handicap mark, we are presented with a number of scenarios. The first scenario we're presented with is a horse that's running in a handicap for the first time. So what we can do is to look at the horse's official rating and look at its previous races to determine whether we feel that the rating is fair based on the performance of its last race. The other thing we can do is to study training methods, and this is where the information on our Proform website can be invaluable. In our daily stats area, we have a number of reports broken down by category. One set of reports under the trainers section are our first time reports, and these are broken down into a number of categories shown on the screen. One report that's really helpful for us to determine the performance of the trainer when they run their horses first time in the handicap are our trainer first running handicap reports, and here is an example shown on the screen. And here is another example as well. So presented with a situation where a horse is running first time in the handicap, what we can do is look at the daily stats area and determine the performance of the trainer under these circumstances. The other scenario we're presented with is if the horse is raised to a higher rating. And in this scenario, what we need to do is determine whether the horse has the ability to improve. Therefore, we need to look at the form book and try and determine whether we feel the horse has the ability to improve based on the performance of its previous race. The other area is where the horse is dropped to a lower rating. This is where we need to compare the horse's rating against any prior winning handicap mark. What we'll do now is to go on to see how we can, using the Proform software and race guides, determine whether the horse is well handicapped based on its previous runs. But before we do that, let's just describe what we mean by well handicapped. The term is easily described by the information in the following graphic. This axis shows the career of the horse by time, and this axis shows the official rating given to the horse. So as the horse progresses through its career, it's allocated a number of different ratings. If the horse wins here and also wins here, what we can say is that this win suggests that the horse is well handicapped. And the reason that we know this is that this rating is below the rating achieved here. In other words, if the horse won off this particular rating, then there's nothing to suggest that the horse shouldn't win off a rating which is lower, which suggests that the horse is well handicapped. Contrast this against these ratings, which suggests that the horse is not well handicapped. But unfortunately, horses are not machines, and they do what horses do and defy a handicap mark that we think they shouldn't win off of. What we have to remember is that these are just numbers. We don't have any context about the race, so we have no understanding under which the circumstances that the horse ran in this race here. We also have no understanding of the conditions that the horse raced here. But what we do have is the numbers that we can make use of. So let me now show you how we can determine if a horse is well handicapped using the Proform software and the Proform race guides. So shown on the screen is the software open under the data view, and we have the race card tab open here for this example race. So we can have a lot more real estate. What I'll do is to resize the screen using the dividers here. The information displayed on the screen is in rows and columns. There are a number of columns which show information that you would normally see in any other race guide, but also we include Proform unique information as well. The columns of interest to determine a well handicapped horse are shown here. This column details the official rating for today's race. This column details the horse's last winning official rating, and this column details the horse's highest winning official rating. If these columns are not shown in the race card, they can be displayed easily by just positioning your mouse over the column heading, right click, and then show fields. Here there are a number of different columns you can add to suit your preferences. The columns of interest are detailed here. So let's look at an example risk and reward. So what we can see in today's race is that risk and reward has been allocated an official rating of 52. Its last winning official rating is 68, and its highest winning official rating is also 68. But just note, with the software in its default state, we're seeing the information for all races regardless of the code of racing. And given this is an all-weather race, we do need to filter the information to compare apples for apples, and there's a number of ways we can do this. One way is to filter the information by wins only, so we can see all of Risk and Reward's wins for each code of racing. And we achieve this by selecting this option here. What we can see now is that Risk and Reward has won 4 times in total, 2 at Sobel and 2 at Redcar. Note that its last winning official rating was 68, and this was achieved in a claim race. So we do need to do some more filtering. The way we do this are the options under this filter here. And there we can select all-weather races only. These filters allow us to also select by race classification, and we can also select handicaps here. The other option is to utilize these filters here. Now with the record of Risk and Reward filtered by all-weather races only, and the classification indicating handicaps, we can now see that, again, Risk and Reward's official rating today is 52. Its last winning handicap mark is 61, and we can confirm that here because the information is ordered by date. And then its highest winning handicap mark is 61. So from these 3 pieces of information, we know that Risk and Reward is running off of a rating of 52, which is £9 below its last winning handicap rating and its highest winning handicap rating, which suggests that Risk and Reward is well handicapped. Now you can see we had to filter the software in a number of ways to display the correct information. Let's now turn to our race guides, where I can show you how all this work is done for you. So shown on the screen is the Proform race guide for the race that we looked at in the software. To use the information in the race guide to determine whether a horse is well handicapped, we need to refer to these 3 columns here. This column indicates the horse's official rating for today's race. This column has a graphical representation, and this column has a number that I'll go on to explain in a moment. Remember what I said earlier, that it's important not to base a well-handicapped horse on races that were not a handicap. So the information in these 2 columns will only be displayed in handicaps. This column is a graphical representation of whether a horse's handicap mark is above or below its highest winning handicap. Anything in green indicates below, and anything in red indicates above. This column will have a number which will indicate how much above or below the official rating is. The number is also race type dependent, so because today's race is run on the all-weather, then the number in the high OR column is based off of wins in all-weather handicaps. So if we take the example of Risk Reward, as we saw in the software, the official rating today is 52. The graphic indicates green, which suggests below, and we already know from the software that the official rating of 52 is £9 below its highest winning rating. So now it's very easy to see from the race guides, we can determine very quickly that Risk Reward is well handicapped, i.e. running off an official rating of 52, which is £9 below its highest winning handicap. If we look at another run in the race, Little Choosy, its official rating today is 48, which is £3 above its highest winning handicap mark in all-weather races. So in summary, well-handicapped horses are potential winners in weighting. From the webinar, I've kind of demonstrated that we can utilize the information in the daily stats area on the Proform website. We can look at the information in the software, and using the Proform race guides, we can easily identify in the race which horses are well handicapped or not. But remember, this is only one piece of the jigsaw puzzle. There are many other factors to consider, but hopefully you'll be able to utilize the information to at least identify those horses that we need to focus our attention on during your form study.